Hey y'all, it's Ashley Francis, the holistic psychotherapist. Today I am talking about one of my all-time favorite subjects, which is meditation. And apparently I'm doing that today with a very patchy red neck, so please excuse my appearance. But nonetheless, we're going to be talking about meditation, my most favorite subject. This is by far one of the most often prescribed medications that I like to give to clients and practice with clients, to teach clients, because it is the most effective. And obviously it is in line with being a holistic psychotherapist and believing in the natural healing powers of the body. This is one of the chief modalities, the chief techniques in order to be able to heal yourself. So it obviously needs a lot of attention, and this will obviously not be the only video focused on meditation, but this is a good start. So I want to talk about some of the benefits of meditation that a lot of people don't even realize. There's a conception out there that meditation is just simply about sitting still, listening to your breath, and watching your thoughts and feelings, and just hoping that you get to this Zen state. And there are parts of that are true, but there's so much more to it. And I also want to spend some time today cleaning up some of those misconceptions and the difficulties and the confusion when it comes to a meditation practice, because those are some of the reasons that people give up, and they give up pretty quickly because it winds up being really frustrating. So let's just briefly talk about some of the benefits of meditation. It can reduce pain. Not only emotional pain, but physical pain as well. I've actually experienced this to be true. I suffer from migraines, and I did a beautiful meditation on Insight Timer a couple months ago, and I totally got rid of my migraine. Now, mind you, I did that one day, and I got rid of it, and then I did it another time, and I didn't get rid of it, so it's not foolproof, but hey, I'll take it. If it means that I can stay away from taking my migraine medication, and I'm able to do this on my own, I can, and I just like to be able to share that with people so that you know that it's possible. Another benefit is that it enhances the immune system. It also increases blood flow, it slows the heart rate, it helps to achieve a calm peace and sense of balance, it helps us to control our thoughts, it helps to reverse heart disease, it also helps to increase our energy and reduce stress. And one of the, obviously a lot of people know that one of the key indicators for cardiovascular disease, as well as many other diseases, is chronic stress. Chronic stress is a key factor in leading to a lot of disease and a lot of mental health problems too. If we could just get the stress response under control, it would clean up a tremendous amount of anxiety and depression. So those are just a few. That is just scratching the surface on the benefits of meditation. So now I want to talk about some different types of meditation. Now keep in mind, there are dozens of different types of meditations. There's dozens of different types of teachers. So I don't want you to get caught up in trying to identify all of the different types of meditation and trying to figure out which one is best for me. Do some of your own research, get curious, look into some, try a few, but I really feel strongly that it's not going to take very long for you to find something that works best for you. But just because a certain type doesn't work, doesn't mean that all meditation doesn't work. So I encourage you to keep going and try different types, but just try not to get in the weeds of all of the different variations. So for the purpose of today, we're just going to talk about 7. And the first one is loving kindness. So this is a Buddhist concept that is very simple. It's very straightforward, where we are practicing feelings of love and kindness, also known as compassion, and being able to feel that for ourselves, but also being able to spread that to other people as well. So this type of meditation is a 2-parter, where you basically get into your meditative state and you cultivate feelings of love and kindness inside of yourself, specifically the heart area I find to be most effective. And then once you have filled your body with those feelings of love and kindness, then you want to practice sending it out mentally, energetically, spiritually to other people. Now, I highly recommend that you send these feelings of love and kindness to the people that need it the most. What does that mean? It means the people that you hold the most anger towards, that you've been harboring the most resentment towards, maybe for the longest amount of time. This is a really challenging practice, but you'll find that if you do it with practice and you do it over time, enough consistency, you actually start to feel those things. You actually start to feel compassion for that other person. And the biggest benefit of that is that you can develop empathy towards them. You might actually start understanding more things about their worldview and their perspective and how they were raised and the culture that they come from. All of these things that we have a tendency to block out because we're angry at them. We just kind of shut it down and say, well, you're a bad person, or you did me wrong, and I don't owe you the time of day. Well, that's not really doing you any good, and it's actually worse on you because you're the one that's harboring all of that anger and resentment, while this other person over here is living their best life. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So really, it is about being able to help assuage the guilt and the anger, the resentment, all the negative stuff, disappointment towards the people that have done you wrong in your life. So that is a great benefit of loving kindness meditation, but it doesn't even have to be in a negative slant. If you just want to send loving kindness to your neighbor or to strangers or to humankind, everyone's going to benefit. Okay, so the second type of meditation is one of my all-time favorites. This is one that I use in EMDR every time. It's called progressive muscle relaxation. So the whole premise of this type of meditation is that, once again, you get into your meditative state and you start to do a scan of your body, starting at the top of your head and progressively moving down until you get to your toes. And as you are doing this scan, you're searching for different places that are holding tension, and then you're asking them to release. And you can do this as many times as you need. You can do it at any rate that you choose. I do recommend going at a slow, steady pace. Don't necessarily need to go too slowly, but you also don't want to go too fast. So slow and steady is usually a good way to go about it. And what you find, this is a really good way to be able to reduce stress. Even if you just have about 5 or 10 minutes to sneak a meditation in, this is one of the best ones to do for that. All right, so the next one is the most common form of meditation, which is mindfulness. And very straightforwardly, that is just being able to be present and in the moment. Simple, right? But we know that that's not easy in our fast-paced, ever-evolving world. Just being able to sit with your thoughts and your feelings and not being in judgment of them. There again, even just 5 or 10 minutes, several times throughout the day, can be tremendously beneficial to be able to reduce that stress response and be able to engage and experience and enhance the benefits of meditation that we talked about earlier. So the next type is breathing meditation. This one is one of my favorites to prescribe for those that have anxiety and for those that say that they are bad meditators or can't meditate. I've tried it, it just doesn't go well. I throw in the towel because I just wind up getting really frustrated. Or this can also be good for the overthinkers. I'm always in my head, I can't shut it off. This is a good one, and ADHD as well. So if you have concentration issues or focus. So this is good because it gives your mind something to do instead of just sitting there and allowing your thoughts and feelings to come up. Sometimes that drives people absolutely crazy. So this one gives you something to do. You try a series of different types of breathing exercises, and I'll talk about one here, which is the box breathing. So this is based on the counts according to your breath in, holding the breath, and breathing out. So you breathe in for 4 counts, you hold it for 4 counts, breathe out for 4 counts, in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, in for 4, hold for 4, you get the idea. So that is the most basic box breathing. It's not my favorite, but it is a good place to start if you're a beginner. My favorite is more of a 8-10-8 ratio. So you breathe in for 8, you hold for 10, and then you breathe out for 8. I like this because on a biological level, what we're really trying to do is activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the part of the nervous system that is responsible for the relaxation response. So we really need to fill those lungs and fill that belly with all of that oxygen, holding it in so it allows it to accumulate in different parts of the body, and then letting go and releasing all of the toxins and things that have accumulated within the body. And it's more therapeutic in that regard. So breathing is a really, really good one for the overthinkers and the can't meditators. The next one is the Kundalini Yoga. So this one is not quite as common, but pretty common among yogis. So this one's pretty cool in that it's a combination of movement and mantras. And I would even venture so far as to say it's a combination of a lot of things. There's a lot of things going on. It's being able to hold your poses. And in order to do that, you need to engage in certain types of breath work that your yoga teacher can teach you how to do. At the same time, you might be holding on to a mantra and saying it over and over and over again. There's also different ways of holding the mudras, which is the hand placement, or the finger placement that we see that a lot of yogis and Buddhists will do. And there are specific functions and meanings to the separate mudras. Again, talk to your yoga teacher or a Buddhist mentor to be able to educate you on what the specific functions are. So the idea for the Kundalini Yoga, and I'm not going to get into exactly what Kundalini is during this video, but the very short version is that it is akin to, or is, a spiritual awakening. So when we engage in something that is multi-stepped, very purposeful, we do it consistently, this is one of the ways that has been found to be able to engage in or bring about and cultivate a spiritual awakening. Okay, and the next type of meditation is also less common in the Western world, which is Zen meditation. This is Buddhist in nature. Oftentimes you have a Buddhist teacher or a teacher of some sort. It's multi-stepped, it's pretty regimented, and it's a lot like mindfulness, but it's more regimented. So if you are more of an advanced meditator and you're looking for something else to do, I'd recommend engaging in some Zen meditation, but of course, seek out someone in your local area to be able to guide you through that. Okay, and the last type of meditation is transcendental meditation. This by far is my most favorite. It's the one that I practice probably most often, maybe secondary to mindfulness meditation. And this is more responsible for transcending. The word transcendental, of course, has to do with transcending, which is ascending through different levels of consciousness. Right now, in consciousness, as I'm talking with you, this is the lower level of consciousness. And we're limited in what we're able to see, think, feel, how we're able to act. But as we ascend to different levels of consciousness, it starts to open up the possibilities of what we're able to see, what we can hear, what we can think, what we can feel. It gives us access to more knowing, more understanding of the great beyond and what we're all connected to. And we're not really able to do that in this lower level of consciousness, which is known as form. We're in the physical body, which is our form. But as we ascend, you think about the chakras, we're ascending upward through the chakras. This is more associated with the 7th chakra, which is associated with more spirituality, godliness, just being able to connect to the great beyond, however you define it. So in this transcendental, it's more of a deep meditative state. And this is really where behavior change can be the most effective. It's necessary in order for us to get to those higher levels of consciousness to be able to activate the reprogramming part of our brains and our bodies. There's a lot that we can do while we're talking to one another, but you really get more bang for your buck when you're in those higher levels of consciousness. So for example, when you get into that deep meditative state of transcendental meditation, that's the time to practice a mantra. So for people that have a fear of flying, for example, the mantra would be, I'm not afraid of flying. I'm not afraid of flying. I'm not afraid of flying. Well, that's great, and that can be really helpful if you just say it to yourself, eyes open, not meditating. In Zen meditation or mindfulness meditation, yes, that can be helpful there too. But as you get to that higher level of consciousness, that programmable part of our existence, it's really driving it into the computer of our being. It's creating a new application or new software that is out of the states of active thinking and active consciousness. So the end result is once you come out of that meditative state, you don't have to try nearly as hard to achieve the mantra that you just programmed into yourself. In other words, the overall effect of I'm not afraid of flying is then you go get on a plane and you're able to fly without fear. Now, this takes some time. It's not a one-time and everything's fine. I can just get on the plane and have no fear. It's something that you need to incorporate into your practice and do it consistently. So those are just 7 of my favorite types of meditation. Now let's talk about some of the pitfalls of meditation. So one of the questions that I get is how often and how long should I meditate? If you're a beginner, I would recommend meditating anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes. If you're brand new, make sure it's only 5 minutes because this is a new skill. You might get deterred, you might get frustrated, and you're more likely to give up. So it's good to just kind of ease into it. I would recommend using a meditation app such as Headspace or Calm. My favorite, my go-to is on Insight Timer. I was going to say on-site timer. It's Insight Timer. I use that nearly daily for a variety of reasons. They have music, they have classes, they have a community, they have guided meditations, they have all kinds of things. So I would recommend having some assistance in the beginning to really help create that habit for you. But straightforwardly, I think that there is a lot of overthinking or overdoing it when it comes to, do I need an exact ritual? Do I need the exact amount of time to engage in practice and meditation? I don't think so. I mean, does it need to be consistent? Yeah. I mean, that's going to be the case for anything that you're trying to see results in, right? But I would say that the sweet spot is anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes if you're more of an intermediate meditator. Even an advanced meditator can still benefit from that. And once again, that kind of goes back to this principle of it kind of takes that long to be able to engage the different systems in the body that need to get flipped on in order for you to access the types of benefits such as less stress, relaxation, being able to focus more, being able to get in tune with your higher authentic self. Yeah, typically that takes a little bit longer time, but not always, not necessarily. You can still reap those benefits with less time. So just be mindful of that. Also, the I can't meditate. Whew, yeah, I hear that one a lot. I think it really does come down to trying on different types of meditation and just figuring out what works best for you. It can become really easy to get deterred and frustrated when you're going into a meditative practice with unhelpful expectations. I hear this a lot. I think the most common complaint that I get is that, well, every time I sit down to meditate, I can't get into that Zen, warm, fuzzy, relaxed feeling, and I feel like a failure. And then you start beating yourself up, and then you feel bad about it, and then it gets reinforced, and then you just not want to do it anymore. So I think the most important thing to keep in mind when it comes to a meditative practice is that the goal is to, more than anything, just sit with your thoughts and feelings and to not be in judgment of them. I'm going to say that again. It's to sit with your thoughts and feelings and to not be in judgment of them. It's not about trying to force a different state of being or force a different mood or to try and change your thoughts. That's not the overall goal here. It's rather to increase your tolerance for adversity, to increase your tolerance for the negative. And what that translates to in daily life when you're outside of your practice is just kind of noticing that when things go wrong, that you become an observer of what's going wrong and you're less likely to react so impulsively. You just kind of notice that, all right, that happened. Now I'm on to the next thing. So that's kind of what it translates into when you're able to get some distance between you and your thoughts and feelings. There's this over-identification that we have with our thoughts and feelings and believing that everything that runs through our mind is true when that's just not the case. And that by far is one of the biggest benefits, I think, of meditation. Okay, well, that will do it for today's video on meditation. Please, please, please let me know what you think by putting some comments below. Also, let me know what different types of subjects you'd like to hear me talk about, and I can make videos for you. And let's keep this going by clicking the like button and hitting the subscribe button. You guys take care.